Hey, Alexandra.
Hi, Amber. It's so nice to talk to you. I am a huge fan of your show. I've been watching it ever since the first episode. I've seen every season and every episode.
Well, thank you because that just allows us to do what we all love to do. So I appreciate your support for sure.
I was watching the show this year and I noticed in the second episode, Lisa's horse gets Potomac fever. And I was wondering if the writers ever ask you for your advice on what kind of horse ailments would be good to have appear in the show or, anything else that's horse related because Potomac fever is something that really only horse owners know about and know how serious it could be.
And I think that over the course of 15 years, we have had the ability to talk about so many different horse ailments and things that happen that we might not have been able to cover in a shorter period of time. So I think that it's really interesting that our writers are so involved in researching and asking all of us. And like you said, yes, I speak with the writers often about not necessarily ailments, but just different horse breeds and things that might happen and behavioral things that would really make a good story and for people to actually understand about what this means and how it impacts horse owners and the horses themselves. And the writers also speak very frequently with our team of wranglers. So we have a group of people on the show that are involved with training the horses and bringing the horses to set every day, and they have vast amount of experience working with all kinds of horses and different things. So for myself, I've been very fortunate, knock on wood. I haven't had a whole lot of horse issues or ailments on my own farm. And so I don't have a lot of experience or things to bring to the table in that regard. I have dealt with a few different behavioral things that I've explained and we've talked about, and situations and scenarios that either I've gotten myself into or my horse has gotten itself into. So there's definitely open communication between our team of writers on Heartland and everyone involved that might be able to have some insight or some ideas of something that would be, but we worth telling a story about.
Did they ever get anything wrong and you're like, wait, no, that's not exactly how it would work?
Yes. I think that our writers are incredible and they do a lot of research, but none of them have ever been horse owners. And as far as I know, none of them have ever ridden before. So it's one of those things that you can do so much research, but sometimes when you get writing and you get involved in a story, there can be things that come out that as a horse owner might not make sense. And so there's lots of times when the preliminary scripts will come out and I'll read it over and I go in, and that's where I bring my own expertise and horse knowledge to the table. Is in that first draft, I go and I sit down with our team of writers and whoever may have written that episode, and I say, this is great, we've got a great story here, but why don't we change this from this scenario to this scenario? Or maybe it would be more realistic if we brought in another horse into the scene and had it react to this, and just little things that I think overall make the show a little bit more real. And there's certain things on Heartland that we do because it is dramatic and it might not be exactly how it would happen in real life, but we also have to remember it's not just horse owners that watch the show. There are people that love Heartland that have never even been around a horse in their life, and so we have to keep it interesting for all audience members. And sometimes there's things that I say, okay, that's a little bit far-fetched, but I'm going to go with it because it's dramatic or because it will really add to the story. And so there's that fine balance of keeping things real and honoring an actual situation that might happen, but then also letting the storytellers do what they do best and create that drama and create something that your viewers are really going to be invested in.
I love how you interact with your fans on Instagram. And I feel like you really care about their concerns. And I know they've had a lot of questions about this season as far as who's going to appear on it. Are you able to give any insight into that?
I think that we have been very lucky over the course of a long running series to keep a lot of our core cast the same. And really, a show in its 15 years is in its 15th season is almost unheard of. And I think that the group of people that have been working together really appreciate one another and they appreciate the show. And I know that in previous years when characters have left, and I'm going to talk about season 14 when Graham Wardle left the show, a lot of viewers were very, very upset. And they tried to blame as many people as they could. I want to go out there and say that because I know our writers really took some heat for it. And they said, how could you do that? How could you just write him out of the show? And there was other things that were talked about, like maybe some of the actors were having a quarrel and he got pushed out. And I just want to say, anyone who's been in a job for over a decade knows that that's quite the feat. It doesn't matter what job it is. It doesn't matter if you're an actor or a musician or you work in an office or anything. It takes a lot of commitment to be a part of the same job for a decade plus. And I think that we need to allow these people to go and live their life how they want to live it, as opposed to being trapped in a character. And so many of the viewers, they only see us as characters. They don't see us on our everyday lives. And myself, I do. I share my life with a lot of viewers and fans because I do enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction. I love the life that I live. And so I feel like I I should share that because I'm really happy with the lifestyle I've created. And if I share that with other people, maybe they'll be inspired to find the lifestyle that fits what makes them feel good inside. And so that's one of the reasons that I do so much interaction and social media time, is that I really enjoy sharing what I have because I love my life. I love my home. I love my animals. I love my husband. It's one of those things that I feel very fortunate to have that. And I hope that it inspires other people to look for that, if they don't feel that already, to go out and do something that makes them feel happy. And so coming back to the character side of things, I'm very lucky that I love Alberta and I get to live here and work here. But the majority of the cast members, they live elsewhere and they fly in to film the show. And some of them have families that are in different provinces that they don't get to see a whole lot when we're shooting because they fly in for the project and then they fly out. So I just want viewers to keep in mind that we aren't just the characters that we play. We all have lives outside of Heartland, and to be allowed to go and live those lives freely, I think is really the most important thing to consider. And so I went on a little bit of a spin here, but I just wanted to kind of bring light to the fact that we're all very dedicated to the show. We love the show very much, but sometimes it's a bit of a struggle balancing life and work, and you need to do what's right for you, and you need to do what's right for you and your family. So I think that that's one of the reasons why some people have had to move on from the show, and I'm completely supportive of that, and I understand that. And in this season, we get to see a lot of our favorite characters back, and there's a lot going on. And I think that the horse stories, which bring so many people back year after year, are so prominent. And we started off the season with Liberty Work, which is my personal favorite. I've really enjoyed working with the Liberty horses, and there's lots of stories to come. Characters, who can I say? I want to say I'm pretty much, most people that we saw last year are back again this year. Let's put it that way. And there's some really great fun scenes too. We got to do, I don't know how much I can give away, but Michelle Morgan directed an episode this year where we had like a logger competition, which was really fun because we get to see a competition between all of our Heartland favorites. We get to see Tim competing against Caleb, competing against Sam Langston. It was so much fun. And it was back to that feel good Heartland. And so there's been a lot of really great light moments this year, which is kind of a breath of fresh air from last year because it was a very heavy season. And there are some heavy moments in season 15 as well. But it's balanced really nicely with some really, really fun and beautiful moments too.
Well, I read ahead and I saw that Jade makes an appearance in one of the episodes, but I didn't see any mention of Georgie. So is she back or is she busy doing other work?
She has kind of been pursuing her own things. I know that she's really focusing on producing and creating her own material, as well as being involved in other productions as well. And that's all I'm going to say there. I know it has nothing to do with being, fans always just think that it's like, oh, we're pushing them out, or we're going in a different direction, or we're writing different ways. Like I talked about before, it's about allowing those people to go and live their passion and to do what's really speaking to them. So I don't know what I can say about that, but she's definitely not in as much as we would like her to be in. Let's put it that way.
And tell me about the new Katie. She's a little bit older than the old Katie, a little bit
No,
taller.
same age, same age.
No.
It's funny, yeah. So Bay is the exact same age as Ava, who plays Parker. They're both 12. She's the same age as the previous Katie, but she just had her growth spurt early on. So I think a lot of people thought that we were jumping in time. We were creating that character being older. She's not, in fact, older. In her own life, she's 12. She's the exact same age as our previous Katie and as the character playing Parker. So it's just funny because she's this much taller than Parker when they're standing beside each other, but they're the exact same age. They're both 12. So I think that for us, it was really cool to have Bay come on set because she has this, she's wise beyond her years. Yes, she's 12, but she walks, talks, and acts like she's 20, and in a very grounded and centered way. And right away she fit in with our group. And I mean, I like to think that we're a very open and welcoming community of people that have been together for a long time. But she came out to my ranch, she rode, she hung out, she was very just excited to be a part of this Heartland world. And that really, that's what we're looking for. We want people that are passionate about what we do. And I had worked with her mom and played my mom on another show years ago. And so it was really fun to reconnect with her as well. And just to have that history together, and then to meet Bay and to just see what a talent she has is, I think viewers are really going to be happy with that.
That's good to know, because I was wondering why Michelle, that plays your sister, why she was so reluctant to have Katie babysit. And I thought, no, she's old enough. What are you worried about? But now that makes sense if she's only 12.
Yeah.
I was wondering, will there be any more winter scenes this year? Because I love that one where you guys were all skating on the pond. It was just so Canadian.
I loved it too. And that was one of the beautiful things that came out of last season, because there was a lot of things that we had to adjust and figure out because of the pandemic. So we were originally supposed to start filming season 14 in April, May, but COVID hit and everything shut down. So we had to push it. We didn't start until till September, which meant that our whole season got shifted and we were able to have some winter scenes. So we shot last year from September until December. And that gave us the opportunity to have all of these, like you said, the skating rink scene, just very traditional Canadian moments on screen, which we didn't have the opportunity to do for many years previous. This year, we went back to our regular shooting schedule, which was April until the end of the end of September. And so no, we didn't even get to see autumn. I hate to say it. I was really hoping that it was going to come at a time where we were going to be able to see some changing leaves, and we just didn't quite get there. We wrapped up right before the leaves changed, and we all went, oh shoot, but it's okay because we still had some beautiful mountain vista shots, and just the colors in summer are so beautiful as well, you know, the bright vibrant greens. And but no, I'm with you, because I really enjoyed season 14, being able to get to see some snow. And we also had to adjust our scripts to fit that, because all of our scripts were created a year in advance when we thought that we were going to be having summer scenes. So we had polo matches and all kinds of things in our script that were supposed to take place outdoors. But when the season got shifted, all of a sudden those scenes are playing in November. We can't have a polo match in November in Canada. So we had to move it indoors, and we had to do a lot of different things to shape that. And then the last episode where you get to see the skating rink, that was never planned initially, because we were supposed to be wrapping up in September. So they were able to write in a few different things just to make use of that beautiful timeline.
The twins who play your daughter are just so adorable. I was wondering, can you tell them apart?
I have a really hard time, but it always makes me feel better because their own father has a very hard time as well. And both of us will be like, oh, but they're starting to really have their own individual personalities. So when I'm chatting with them and doing different things in a scene, I can usually always tell who's who. But if they just walk on set and I I don't know. I'm half the time because they are so identical. They and of course Heartland dresses them and does their hair and stuff exactly the same. So that doesn't help. But yeah, there's a lot of times I look at their mom and I'm like, so Ruby, and she'll be like, or else she'll be like, that one. So I would say that the more time I spend with them, for sure, the more I can tell them apart. But there's some times when it's hard.
And final question, I know you shot a TV movie this year. I believe it was in Ontario. Who takes care of your farm when you're on location?
My husband was here, so he stayed home and I went to Ontario to film. So we just kind of work it out. He's got a very hectic schedule as well. So kind of making it as easy as possible to manage is always the key. And whenever I go away, he's usually home, or if he goes away, I'm usually home. And if we do ever get away together, which is far and few between, when you have a farm, you understand, we have a really good friend of ours that comes and house sits for us, and she knows all the animals and she knows the routine. And so we're lucky to have that as well.
Is your husband as big an animal lover as you are?
I would say he definitely loves animals, but he keeps me in check when it comes to, he would never be the one that brings home something. And anytime I'm talking about it, he's like, are you really sure that that's what you want? And you're really sure that you want to be looking after something else? So he grew up on a farm. He's always had horses and dogs and cats. But I wouldn't say that he's even half the animal I'm not going to say lover because he loves animals, but he's very practical when it comes to, okay, but is this something that does the responsibility weigh out the connection and the love that you're going to get from this creature? And if it doesn't, maybe you should consider letting it go to somebody else. So he keeps me in check. I would have way too many animals if it wasn't for him.
Thank you so much for talking to me today. You're such a lovely person. It's been such a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of season 15. And thank you for being a longtime fan as well.
I'll definitely enjoy it, and I hope there are many more seasons to come.
Me too.
Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, or if you're returning and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, tap it now, plus the notification bell in the right-hand corner so that you make sure you don't miss out on any new celebrity interviews. While you're at it, hit the like button and tell me below in the comments, who's your favorite star? Who would you like to see me interview next? I'd love to hear from you.